At this point, a lot of people can swear that Jesse Lee Peterson's mission on Earth is to trigger people. And they might not be wrong though, because every time I watch his videos, he's either being controversial or being thought-provoking. The irony is, I still enjoy watching him. This one, he's going to be triggering the audience of Dr. Phil. Pay attention. You might like it, you might not, but it's going to interest you. Let's get to it.
I want to play, this is one of my favorite clips of you from the Dr. Phil show. I love this clip. So let's play this. I want to start off with a hot clip. And this clip made a lot of people mad, but I don't know why. So let's run it, and then I want to get your instant reaction.
Right?
All right. Yes.
And you're a radio host?
Yes.
Okay. And you said you believe white people should have more children?
We definitely need white babies. And I tremble at the idea that white babies, that the white group is going down in numbers, because if you lose white folks, America, it's over for America. Because if you notice, white people tend to be more innovative. They're more creative. They have ideas about things. All these other races don't do nothing but destroy. They don't build, they destroy.
He's wrong. I said you piss off.
Even white people are feeling uncomfortable hearing him.
Everybody, I was wrong. Now you piss off everybody.
Jesse, what was going through your mind? That'd be a tough room. All those white guys are looking at you like they want to kill you.
They were like, what the? But it's the truth. I was telling the truth. And there's some poll or something came out, said that after a number of years, white people be the minority in our country and not the majority. And as we all know, whether we want to admit it or not, but we got to admit it, is that if the numbers of white people go down, it will be over for America. That's why people from around the world are going to the Western countries, the Western part of the world, because people of color cannot build. They only destroy, and it's only white people who are building. They're innovative, they have amazing ideas. They love to live a first-class life, so they work hard to make that happen. And then the people of color comes in, and all they ever do is destroy. They never build. Look at their S-hole countries. Look at the in our own country, the places where black people and others are living is a mess. Crime out of control.
You see, whatever I say right now may or may not be true, regardless of what it is. It's very difficult to hear. I do believe colored people or people of other races can build. And I do believe that. But also it's thought-provoking, is interesting. This is not the first time I'm hearing this. He's not the first person saying it. I've heard that this statistic or this information actually exists in a research paper. I've heard about that before. So it's not my first time hearing it. But it seems controversial to say that, though. Don't you think so?
Neighborhoods are not being taken care of at all. Out of wedlock birth, out of control. Anger is out of control. And then they destroy those areas and they go to the suburbs where the white people are living, and they run the white people out. And the white people are like, okay, we're not racist. Y'all can stay here. And they leave, and they turn those areas into a hellhole. It's the truth. This is why I was saying that white people, y'all better stop having abortions. You better stop killing your baby. Having abortion. You better stop having 1 and 2 kids. You better go back to having 10 and 11 and 12 kids, because they're going to do to the white people what they've done to the whites in South Africa. Exact same thing they did to the whites in South Africa, they're doing it to the whites in America. They ran them out of the cities. White folks gave over the cities. They moved out into the farmlands. And now the blacks are going out there to kill them, robbing and raping and breaking in their homes.
Yeah, South Africa is a mess. But let me tell you this, Jesse. You talk about this subject a lot. We try to break everything down. A lot of people do break down by race or gender. But what about this?
South Africans, let me know what you think about that point. I know I have a few South Africans on the channel. Let me know what you think about that. Is that the case? Because a few months ago, maybe, there was a video trending, the divide between the black and the whites in South Africa, and the tone in the video was leaning towards the black side. But he's saying that the blacks have taken over the community that belonged to the whites, and now going into the white communities and still robbing them. Somebody could argue that South Africa was a black community to start with. I mean, let me know your argument. Just speak aside and tell me what you think. I want to read what you guys think about this.
This idea, Jesse, and I'm not trying to white knight for everybody, but is it just erasing, or is it growing up without a parent thing? Because I think any kid, no matter their color, if you come from a broken home, aren't you more than likely going to have a rougher upbringing, Jesse?
Well, you're right. You're absolutely right about that. I grew up in Alabama. I grew up under the so-called Jim Crow laws, and they say that the blacks and white were segregated, but that didn't stop black people from having fathers and mothers in the home. They had grandparents together. We were taught to work when we were children, and our parents prepared us to be ready to go out on our own as adults and deal with life. I left home at 18. And even though there were the black and white water fountains and things like that, I never heard the word racism. It did not exist. They told us, and they told the white kids and white people to treat one another the way you would like to be treated. And so black people were not begging and whining and destruction and violent and all this drug stuff. They were not blaming white people. That happened as a result of the Civil Rights Movement and the Democratic Party. The worst thing, other than abortion, that has ever happened to the blacks was the Civil Rights Movement. Martin Luther King and all those guys, they made up this lie that black people, you guys can't make it. The Jim Crow laws holding you back. You're not going to be able to do it. That was a lie because black people were buying land. They were educating themselves.
To a lot of people, Martin Luther King was a hero and is still a hero. He said he made up these lies.
They were working hard. That was a lie, Alice. And then the black people fell for it, and they sold their life over to the Martin Luther King and Jesse Jackson and others, and they sold them to the Democratic Party. It's just been downhill ever since.
No, and Jesse, that's why they say that the KKK was actually created by the Democrats, is because black businesses were beating the white businesses. There was more of a business thing, is that people want to eat at black restaurants. People were eating a black, shoe store. And so that they would purposely go and destroy the businesses so they wouldn't have to compete against them economically. So why did the country shift where they targeted marginalized people? It's just because the population of black people are less? I mean, you have to admit, even though black people are targeted unfairly, Jesse, a little bit. Wouldn't you agree a little bit? I mean, compared to me,
I don't know what you mean by that.
I don't get pulled over for driving while black. You know that does happen to other people.
Right, and the reason, you're asking me some good questions. I want to deal with all of them. When I was growing up, I did not know any black Democrats. My parents, my grandparents, and others were Republicans. Even Martin Luther King at the time was a Republican, so he pretended. But he was a Republican. Blacks were not a part of the Democratic Party because the Democrats didn't want blacks in their party. And so the Republican Party was created by blacks and whites together because they did not want the blacks in the Democratic Party. And as a result, the KKK were Democrats, and they didn't like the blacks because the blacks were becoming senators and congressmen. They were independent. So they went after the blacks because of the power they were getting as a Republican, not because of their color. And then that was another lie that came from Jesse Jackson and others, or the so-called Civil Rights Movement. It was not true. The civil rights leaders sold the blacks to the Democratic Party so that they can lead the black people in the right way to go. And as far as blacks being targeted, you got to think of this, man. The blacks are committing the crimes. They are not respecting the officers when they're stopped and told what to do. They are cursing them out. They're giving them hard times, and that's why they are targeted. If they act like they had sense and follow the orders, what the?
I hope this man's life is not threatened. He needs a lot of security for the things he says on public TV. But that point there, even though it might be triggering to a lot of people, he's about 80% right. Because I saw a clip that kind of composed. Usually we see what happens afterwards. The police shot the man. But if you watch the full clip, the full camera of what might have preceded that action of the police shooting or the police reacting, you would see that he's not, totally wrong with this point. Let me know what you think. Feel free to share your thoughts on this one. This is gonna be it's gonna be intense. I'm panicking, guys. I didn't say these things. Jesse Lee Peterson said it.
The order of the police officer, you wouldn't have the problem that you see. Don't do the time. Don't do the crime. You won't do the time. They were not doing this when I was growing up. All of a sudden, it's changed when they tried to blame the white man for the downfall of the black people. White people have nothing to do with it. It's on the individual. It's not on the white person or the white people. It's on the individual. And black people have given up thinking and doing for themselves. They're whining. They want affirmative action. They want reparation. They want free housing. They want everything free. When will they stop begging? When would enough be enough? You don't hear other people doing that. And other people are starting to do it now because they're using this idea of civil rights movement. But at some point, you have to say no to them. Go and get a family. Take care of yourself.
Jesse, and I want to introduce you to my other in-studio guest, this guy by the name of Alex Rosen. He has one of the biggest channels where he goes and he confronts a lot of these. He's a pedophile poacher. He catches a lot of these people that are, trying to meet up with young kids.
What is he wearing? Oh my goodness, the whole video is going to be controversial. Hopefully YouTube doesn't strike me on this. He says trans vaccinated. Oh my goodness, this is intense. Jesse Lee Peterson, pardon me. His points of views are incredible. Honestly, I don't have to agree, but I watch almost all his videos. I watch a lot of his videos because he has very interesting points and very thought-provoking points to give you a new perspective. I know some people might watch this with a closed mind and whatever he says just makes you angry. But I promise you, if you try to be open-minded, you might learn a thing or two because the man is knowledgeable. Depending on how you see it, I think he's very knowledgeable. So watch it with an open mind. You don't have to agree everything, but just pick the little things that make sense. Anyways, let's keep going.
Do you want to ask the Reverend something?
How's it going, Jesse? Nice to meet you.
All is well. You too.
Good. Yeah. So have you heard of people catching online child predators before?
No, I haven't. I'm about to.
Jesse, you got to watch his channel. So he goes and they use decoys just like Chris Hansen does. And they'll get the guy in there, and they think they're meeting an 8-year-old girl, and then you get a 300-pound man right in your face. It's good.
I like that.
Yeah, if you watch the videos, you'll probably use both your catchphrases, tragic and amazing. So, you definitely need to check it out.
They are amazing.
I definitely will. Do you guys agree with me that white people should have babies because it's over for America?
My producer's having a baby. Show my producer. This guy's actually having a baby somehow, Jesse. This is my producer.
Somehow.
But he went to Princeton. Jesse, and he thinks he's so smart. Will you please tell him how Ivy League schools do not equal a smart student? Can you please wake him up a little bit?
Wake me up.
The dumbest people on this side of heaven are the ones with the degrees.
Yeah.
The more degrees you have, the dumber you become, right? And if you doubt me, look at the country.
Thomas Sowell said the same thing. Yeah, and Thomas Sowell, we can say he's credible. So at this point, I do not disagree. An example, I think 50 Cent made this example. He said if school teaches you how to be rich, your professor would be so rich to teach in the class. My point is, the teachers know all these things, but they don't understand or they don't really know the implementation, which in turn, they don't know how to practice it in the real world, which makes them, or which could imply that they are not very smart at what they know. Does it make sense? Maybe not, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
The more degrees you have, the dumber you become, right? And if you doubt me, look at the country and look at the people who are running the country. They have degrees. You're divided. Illegal aliens are coming across the border like 90 going north. The races are more divided than ever before in history. They stopped drilling oil. They're over there so-called helping the Ukraine while they're doing nothing for their own hometown. These people have degrees. So I don't know about you, man, but people, the smart people are the dumb people. We got to go dumb again to make America work.
Hey, Alex, can I ask him a quick question? A producer
Barely,
question?
yes, I'll allow it.
Okay.
Hurry.
Well, I wasn't expecting this question, but first, how have you not said anything about Alex's hat?
Because he's not racist.
Oh, I was going to ask. I'm surprised that they let him wear that hat because they don't like for you to show anything that's real. But I love the fact that you're not afraid to wear it. We need more of that. We got to get rid of fear. Any man that has fear is a beta male.
That's legendary. Yeah. Jesse, your catchphrases are so good, and that's why I think you become such an icon on the internet. Now, this is another thing I'm giving you to all my employees. This is White Darius. He's a terrible employee as well, and he wants to ask you something. Dude, if you speak, do not cuss or say anything. He's a Christian man. I will spray you with this Windex. What do you want to say to him? Get on camera.
Larry Sinclair and Obama.
Oh, yeah. What did you think about... Okay, ask him. That's a good question.
Why do so many light-skinned... brothers like getting sucked off by white men?
Get out of here! Stop! No, he said.
Okay, that was very interesting. That was very, very interesting. With the points of white people having more babies, I do agree. I mean, not necessarily following the reasons Jesse Lee Peterson had mentioned, but I do agree because I think the world is a puzzle. You know, we need everybody, every race, every nationality to build the whole story. So if we're having deficiency in the growth of a certain race, then there's going to be deficiency in the world as a whole in general. It cannot just be an inclusive world when we only have black people or we only have Asians. So we need everybody. I do not disagree with that. But his points of views, it's going to be so difficult for somebody to back him 100%. Even though you might agree, but to back him openly in the media 100% is going to be tough. He's used to it, you know. He's probably gotten all the backlash already, so he can keep going. I'm a newbie. I'm not going to go that route. Let me know what you think about that. And if you totally agree with everything he said, if you're a fan of Jesse Lee Peterson, share with us in the comment section. If you're not a fan, also share, talk to us about anything. It's an open dialogue. Smash that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.